Hello all, and we're back with another dungeon day. Today we're heading for Pit of Saron. So I'm on my way to we're in Silver Moon here, and we're just going into the portal. Which is a really cool addition. I don't know if they had this in previous expansion, because obviously I didn't play much of those, but I really like this addition, so you can have a quick way to get to the dungeons that's not part of the current expansion, which is really cool. I really hope they keep this going for the future. So yeah, our group just got filled with this last spot, so now we're just all heading over to the dungeon. Which is really cool that Pit of Saron is back, because that was one of my favorites back in Wrath. A lot of people get confused when they come here to find the dungeon, but all you have to do is just go straight forward. And I always get stuck on that corner for some reason, every time I come here. So yeah. Just stopping by to summon the last guy here. And into the dungeon we go. I was kind of looking forward to doing a dungeon today because well, I say today because I do the commentary the same day as I do the dungeons. Because I got a new crafted weapon for my paladin and I wanted to test how good it would do. We're getting food buff here. Putting on our usual buffs. I think Flask may be a bit overkill for 10s, but you know. Just playing it safe. So now we're just waiting for everyone to get here so we can start this one. I really like what they've done with Pit of Saron. It's gone through a few changes, like two of the bosses are very different. Just the overall area of the dungeon. The area it's mostly the same, but they have added some objectives, as you'll see as we go through. So it's like a little bit extra you have to do instead of just mindlessly going to a ton of trash that this dungeon has. So yeah, here we go. We're all mounted, ready to go.
The way forward opens, and your fate.
So here's the first pull is usually right in front of the dungeon, pulling these two packs right here. Right next to this quarry camp, I'll go with that in a bit. First, this trash has a couple of dangerous mobs.
You will have to make your way
There's a caster who spams Shadow Bolt, which you can keep interrupted. There is the main elite guy who's in charge of the camps. I don't remember his name, but he spawns these purple puddles on the ground which can do a lot of damage. I find out more about that in a bit. And some of these packs have a gargoyle which will randomly pick up one player in the party and will pull them slowly further and further up. And if you don't DPS them down and interrupt them in a certain amount of time, they will fly high up and hit you down or drop you down on the ground, which can cause a lot of AoE damage. However, if you have something that gets you out of slows and similar stuff, you can use that, like Hand of Freedom, Tiger's Lust, Blinks, I believe works. I think Death's Advance for DKs work as well, because I noticed the DK got out of it pretty quick a couple of times, so yeah, pretty not really that bad of a mechanic. I was surprised the first time it happened to me, but that was a while ago, and it was the first time ever I was in this dungeon, so since Wrath, that is. So yeah, we're just plowing down the trash here. Nothing else too impressive about the trash. The trash is mostly pretty straightforward, but yeah, they added these quarry camps to to the dungeon in after the when they brought it back, and which is pretty interesting. You basically have to liberate 6 quarry camps throughout the dungeon, which is one of the objectives to complete the dungeon, which is kind of cool. Which forces you to go around the dungeon and do stuff instead of just following one very specific path. Well, I guess most people do the same path anyway, but you know what I mean. So I'm usually just trying to focus the gargoyle, just in case people don't know you can get out of it yourself, but just nice to get him out of the way. At least I do that early on. Later on I'll start focusing on another one. I also got these poison puddles in the ground, which is extremely annoying, and you'll see that again later on another boss. Yeah, so far I feel like the new weapon I got is actually doing quite well for me, because I'm doing a lot of damage in this dungeon, which I'm really happy about. So yeah, we got another one of these dangerous AoE pools, which is gonna come to bite me in the butt in this pull, because I'm focusing too much on this caster mob. Yeah, here we go. I did move because I was focusing on the caster, so I just instantly release and run back. It's not that far, and I got Crusader Aura, which makes it a bit different. But I was still quite annoyed that I died from that, because it was basically just I stood in shit. That's pretty much it. But it was luckily not too far from the entrance, so. And no one really gave me any crap about it, no one really, it wasn't even really mentioned, so. Yeah, just a minor mistake. So we go to we get these riders riding these proto drakes, which does like frontal breath every now and then. Not too bad to avoid, and it's a bit hard to see there, but I got picked up by the gargoyle, so I just instantly used freedom. I do like, I've said it before, but I do like all these little things you can get out of it with your freedom. You'll see me use it a few more times for a couple of things in this dungeon. There's a debuff on some mobs as well in this dungeon, like frost debuff that slows people, so you can which you can do as well. And the mage had no idea he could get out of that, apparently, because I think twice he gets picked up and he does nothing about it. Then we got another camp right here. I do believe you could do something with these in the original, but it's been so long since I played the original. I do not remember all the details. I do know there used to be giant skeleton ads, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that used to be a thing that used to patrol in this area, and they used to be very dangerous, so everyone pretty much just skipped past them. Yeah, we got 4 out of 6 out of the camps, and we're getting close to our first boss here. Which is, from what I remember, the only boss that hasn't really been changed. He's pretty much the same. Here I go after the mob that's not interrupted, so. And we got someone being picked up by the gargoyle again, and this time I believe the cast doesn't get interrupted. I noticed I could have... Well, no, I couldn't actually. My interrupt was on cooldown. It was interruptible there for the last couple of seconds, but no one interrupted it, so... There's not too much to go over for trash-wise in this dungeon because pretty much everything is the same pretty much until the end with the trash. Unlike like other dungeons, there's usually some different mobs here and there, but this dungeon is mostly the same with all the trash. Biggest variety really is when you get to these mobs riding the dragons. So yeah, now it's we're going up for our first boss. The Forge Master Garfrost. Which is a really fun boss. I really like this boss. So here we pull, pop all our stuff and go start doing damage. So yeah, what he will do, he will mark 2 people with these circles and he will throw a chunk of Saronite down on that person's location. And then the tank will get marked with the debuff and he will have to stand on top of one of the chunks, or he will get a stun, which can be pretty nasty. And then he will empower one of his forges. There's 3 of them. It's completely random which one he does, I believe. And you have to basically line of sight it with the Saronite. And then it gets destroyed after, and you have to be careful to not stand in the debris or chunks that gets thrown everywhere. And that's pretty much the whole fight. You just rinse and repeat. It's a very simple fight. I remember back in the day when I played this on my DPS characters, a lot of people, a lot of tanks refused to tank it next to the Saronite, or when the line of sight thing was happening, so it was impossible to get damage done on them. As you can see, the longer this fight goes on, the floor will get filled up because of the Saronite. So it's sort of like a, I guess a sort of pseudo DPS check, soften rage if you want to call it, before the whole floor gets filled up. But if you have that low DPS, maybe you shouldn't be in there in the first place. I know it's a bit bad to say, but it's kind of true. Boss is getting pretty close to dead here. I guess he also has the constant AoE damage taking from his aura, so healers constantly have something to do on this boss.
Giant underrats, clean, save boss, great shame for late.
So yeah, now we're gonna do trash until the next boss. This dungeon really makes me nostalgic though. I really enjoyed Wrath, so that's when I got into endgame content properly. We're also only have 2 more camps, this being one of them, and by the time we get to the second boss we should have all the camps done, so... Oh yeah, this pull, I kept getting stuck on this little wheelbarrow that's underneath the mobs while I was dodging stuff like here. I was, well not here, yeah here, I was trying to avoid stuff and I got stuck on this wheelbarrow. It really annoyed me. And these purple swirls came out. I got stuck on the wheelbarrow while trying to dodge purple swirls. That could have been bad, actually. I got one of the frost debuffs there, so I used Hand of Freedom. Such a useful spell. If you're a paladin and not expecting to Hand of Freedom, what are you doing? It also, at least, might only be for Rat, I'm not sure, but yeah, there's like a small little movement speed increase when you use Hand of Freedom as well, so it's good for like a short sprint if you don't need it for anything else. So yeah, this is the last trash pull before the next boss. And now we're ready for the next boss, which is perfect timing since we just got the Salvat ad as well. So yeah, now we're pulling Ikan Crick, which is very changed from the original. You see these purple little spots all over the place which spawns these orbs. Now one of them will be Vic, which will be constantly casting a spell called Death Bolt, which has a very long cast. And the others will constantly be channeling on a cast, and if they go off, I believe they explode. I haven't actually seen it happen, but I do believe that's what happens. So you wanna keep Crick interrupted as much as you can, but also destroy the other orbs when they're there, so. Also, as you can see, we got poison pools spawning on the grounds. Those will constantly be spawning throughout the entire fight, which is just, again, like a soft enrage, because you're kinda locked into this little area by the purple beams around the room. And then the second phase, Crick will start, or it will order Crick to fixate on someone. And do a ton of melee damage to anyone who gets in there, if that person gets in melee range. So they just wanna kite him away. Crick moves really slow during this, so it's no problem to stay away from him at all. And then it goes back into the first phase. So I just run over to Ick to interrupt him there before going off to one of these orbs. And the orbs do die really fast, so. Yeah, first time I did this boss on Mythic Plus, I believe. I don't know if I did this on Mythic 0 or not. I was really confused what was going on in this fight, but done it a couple of times since, and yeah, got the hang of it. I do believe we're about to get another fixate phase here, so yeah.
Must not be interrupted. Ick, take care of him. No, that one. Forget that one. I've changed my mind. Go get that one instead.
I always found this boss to be kind of silly, even back in the original.
Don't kill me, please. I'll tell you everything.
And so now we're gonna head up to towards the last boss. And this has also majorly changed. In the original, you could there was a ton of maps spawned throughout this whole hill, and everyone used to pull everything all the way up here. But now it's just like one trash pack that spawns, and then you have this trash pack, which Again, it's not as bad as the original. This trash in the original used to be a killer. So yeah. They definitely changed the trash to be a lot easier in this version, which I don't mind. The original trash was awful sometimes. Yeah, we're coming up towards the tunnel here, and I'm sure everyone remembers the tunnel. Tunnel feels very similar, at least, because yeah, I guess there's not much you can change. I mean, obviously, except for like the trash bin the trash itself being different, there is not too much changes in here. You still have the falling stalactites all over the place to avoid, so, and the mini boss in the middle. I believe the only difference is that you can't really pull everything to the last boss room anymore, as you could in the original. In the original, everyone just ran straight through the tunnel, pulling everything through and killed everything on the other side. In this one, you can't do that because the other exit is closed until you kill the mini boss, which is an interesting change. So we're just finishing off this trash before going on to the mini boss right now. So I'm saving my cooldowns here. I could pop them and kill this guy a lot faster, but I wanted to keep them for the mini boss at the start of the mini boss. So I would pull the mini boss. It's like a giant rock elemental thing, frost elemental, whatever, however you want to call it. He does these debuffs on people, and once they go off, you get these slippery ice all over the ground where people were standing. Really annoying to stand on. And he does a frontal shield, so you can't hit them from the front, you have to stand behind them. That's pretty much all he does. Nothing really too impressive with this guy. Yeah, once this guy is done, we'll be heading straight to the last boss, because this is the last trash we're killing, basically. And all the stalactite stops falling as soon as you kill him, which is kind of nice.
Heroes, to me!
Intruders have entered the Master's domain. Signal the alarms.
Heroes, we will hold off the undead as long as we can, even to our dying breath. Deal with the Scourge Lord.
So there we go with the final boss, Scourge Lord Tyrannus. Used to be kind of a punk killer back in the day, and nowadays he's a lot simpler. He has these piles of bones everywhere. You see two people get blue rings, which means they need to stand on top of specific bones, as you can see with the beams coming out of it, to freeze them, because later on he will do a cast that spawns adds. He spawns void zones on the ground, just don't stand in those. Nothing, basically just avoid them, and then here you see me get the debuff, I stand on the thing. So now we'll get less ads in the ad phase, basically. Which you want, because the ads do a lot of damage. I do believe there's always one you can't avoid getting ads from, so there it goes. Cast Army of the Dead. And now all the ads spawn, so you just wanna Start AoEing them down as they spawn. There's also some pulsing AoE damage while all this going on, and then you get these blizzard zones you also have to avoid, so yeah. And that's pretty much the whole fight. So I will say thank you all for watching and leave you to the rest of it.
Such a shameful display. You are better off dead. Power overwhelming. Such a shameful display. You are better off dead.
Brave champions, we owe you our lives, our freedom. Though it be a tiny gesture in the face of this enormous debt, I pledge that from this day forth, all will know of your deeds and the blazing path of light you cut through the shadow of this dark citadel. This day will stand as a testament not only to your valor, but to the fact that no foe, not even the Lich King himself, can stand when Alliance and Horde set aside their differences.